It is getting cold here in Europe. Yesterday it was raining all day in Madrid. Temperatures in the mid 40s, and just with the rain and the breezes, it was just cold. I stayed inside almost all day except for one short little trip out to get some food. I think it's time to return to the United States, Arizona deserts, and back to the step van. One of the questions I've been pondering is, which one is better? Step van life, living in a step van, traveling around the United States, or backpacking, traveling with a backpack, living in hostels throughout Europe? So I've been pondering this question a lot over the past couple of weeks as I've been wandering around Europe and having been in the step van for the last several months, and struggles that I've had emotionally while I was in the United States. I have to say that I feel emotionally recentered and recharged after just a few weeks here in Europe. So why is that? And to be honest, I don't know quite the answer to that question. And in regards to whether step van life versus living in Europe and traveling around, which one is better, which I think it's all relative. I think both have something to offer. I'm on my way right now to find a money exchange to exchange my euros. I've got about 250 euros to exchange back into American dollars. I'm in Madrid. If you're in Madrid and you need to exchange money, probably not a good idea to do at the airport. You don't really get good rates there. The place you want to come to is the downtown center area, Puerto del Sol. It's the Gate of the Sun. And that's the center downtown area where they have the giant Christmas tree that you've seen in previous episodes. I'll link above, as well as the big Apple store. And it's not far from where I'm at. Right behind me you can see the tour groups coming through here. This is the Plaza Mayor. It's the Grand Plaza, the Great Plaza, and it's the central plaza for Madrid. So right now they're setting up for the Christmas festivities, so they're going to be setting up a Christmas market over here, big stage area. I came to the Christmas market here I think 2 years ago. I'll link that episode above if you want to see what this looks like during the Christmas season. Getting back to my earlier question and line of thought, van life versus European backpacking. I think when I'm in a van in the United States, I feel more stable and complacent, more static. There's less turbulence, and so it's a more serene, less stressful environment to be in. And I really think that this escalates the more nomadic you get and the more you move away from your comfort zone into areas that are a little bit more challenging. For example, those of you who have lived in a house, sticks and bricks, versus moving into an RV or a van, you'll know that if you're in a house, it's much more comfortable. You've got air conditioning, you have thick walls, you have a larger space to live in. If you're in a family situation or in a relationship, you've got space to move for privacy and solitude. You can just maintain a very static, pleasurable, comfortable lifestyle. But you don't have nearly as much freedom because all of these things act as anchors. One of the things people like about van life is that you have the freedom to move, the freedom to travel, but that comes with a cost. The cost is giving up the sticks and bricks comfort, giving up the stability that you have of living in one place. So let's put forth the question, which one's better, van life or sticks and bricks, living in a house? And I would say neither one's better. Both have things to offer. You get more freedom, more flexibility, the ability to travel tremendously, to pursue things like rock climbing or mountain biking, surfing, by having a vehicle that you can move easily with the weather. But you give up societal comforts of the group of friends that you want to be among, the comfort of living in a house with controlled temperature, a large wardrobe, garage for projects, for multiple vehicles. All of those things you give up when you move into your van. So that brings us back to van life versus European backpacking. And I would argue that that same degree of freedom is gained with European backpacking and the same kind of cost. You have far less in the way of anchors, far less in the way of the belongings when you're backpacking. You just a backpack and traveling the world. A tremendous amount of freedom. You're relying on your local resources of hostels for places to stay, restaurants to eat in, and markets to get your food. But with that, you gain a tremendous amount of freedom, even more freedom than you have in a van, because you have to worry about parking a van somewhere. And when you're using a backpack, you can travel with extreme flexibility. Found a place to exchange some money. Got to go over here and exchange the euros, get some dollars. I need dollars. I have euros.
For 170, you will get back 166 US.
Is there a commission too?
Yes, it's included.
How much is commission?
The final price it would be 166 for the 160. In this case, it would be the 6%.
6% commission? Okay, thank you.
Don't worry.
I think I'm going to look for an exchange that has a 0 commission. That's 6% commission there. Dollars? I don't think I have ID with me. Okay, and what is the exchange if I bring back ID?
$108 for 1 euro.
And for this, how much?
184.
Okay, I will come back. Thank you.
Okay.
Huge difference. $184 for 170 euros versus 163 for 170 euros. So watch for those commissions. They'll get you. This is a pro tip for you. Don't do as I just did and forget your passport or your ID when you're going to exchange money. You need to have at least a driver's license, probably preferably a passport. Anyway, I had to make a trip back to the hostel to get my ID. Not that far, but... And back to the money exchange. I think the more I think about it, the more I look at it, the more I analyze the situation, sticks and bricks versus van life versus backpacking Europe. I think maybe a middle way, a balance of all three is probably the ideal for you psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, if you will. And so I think I'm striving to do that over this next year. It's mid-November right now, headed back to the United States, so maybe for next year, try to get some sort of balance between all three. One other thing to factor into all three of these situations, sticks and bricks, van life, backpacking Europe, is personal growth and development. I feel when I travel backpacking in Europe or around the world that I grow at like 7 times what I would back in the US living in an apartment or a house. If I go back and visit friends after you've been abroad for 1 month, it feels like you've lived 7 months worth of experiences for 1 month that's passed versus your friends. If you've been gone a year and come back, it feels like you've aged by 7 years compared to your friends around you. And I think the same is true with van life versus sticks and bricks. With van life, you evolve and develop dramatically and rapidly as you're overcoming various hurdles, various emotional barriers, and growing personally. Maybe not quite as much as backpacking, but again, the stress level is lower. So in conclusion for the episode today, I would say, I don't know, there's a slight preference, I guess, towards international travel, but it is also quite a bit more taxing and a little bit more intensive an experience, so I don't think it's as doable over a long period of time. So I would say a mixture of both is probably ideal and best. That's all I have for this episode. Thank you for watching. Savor the moment and see you next episode.